don't know how well my batteries are doing, but we'll try a maple syrup video. In the middle of the woods, following up the vines, which go up the trees, and have grapes hanging down from the maple trees. As you can see from the maple leaves, possibly sugar maple leaves, and these are the source of maple syrup. But usually they're in a specially organized tree farm. But since I happen to have a tree handy, let's go into what the details are. This is kind of a how-to. Here is, say, a maple tree, and it's probably about nearly 18 inches in diameter. So it's a thick, big tree, good mature tree. That's what you want. You don't want the little sapling. And you want to tap the tree. The time to tap the tree is in March and April. It's when spring's about to happen. The lows at night are in the 20s, and the highs in the daytime are in the 40s. This is ideal for maple syrup. It tells a tree in spring, in March or April, it's time to put the leaves up. It's time to wake up. Winter is over. 20s at night, 40s in the day. This time window is only 1 week to 4 weeks or 6 weeks long at best. And that's when the maple syrup time is best. So, you have a tree about this big, or, you don't want it much smaller than that. And then you have to tap it. And what do you tap a maple tree with to get the syrup out? You just don't stick an old pipe in there. You don't just stick a nail in there and it comes running out. But what you do is you get a thing called a spile. Here's a picture of one. A spile. And what a spile is it's basically a little tube tap, like a vampire tooth. And I'm going to show you here. You do it like here. This is about 4 feet up the tree. And you start by pre-drilling, piloting a 3/8 inch hole, slightly angled up into the tree, 1 inch deep. It doesn't have to be real deep. And then you insert the spile, and usually it'll start dripping pretty quick. So hopefully you've got your bucket or container to collect the dripping. So what you do, you could put one tap in a tree, and then one tap maybe on this side, and maybe one tap on that side. And then if you do taps the next year, you do them higher up and off, like by 45 degrees. That's so you don't wound the tree. And so you put your tap in, you pre-drill it with a 3/8 inch drill, about 1 inch deep. It doesn't have to go very deep to reach where the sap is. And then you could do one on this side, and one on this side, and one on the other side. And you got 4 taps. They should be able to turn out gallons of fluid. The fluid that comes out is a maple sugar fluid. It's probably about as sweet as Kool-Aid. Just tastes like sugar water, essentially. And then you put the spile into your piloted hole, and there's a little hooky on the spile that you can hang your little bucket, or now it's a bag with a little thing on it that has a cover so that the bark and the bugs and things don't get into the sugar water. As it comes out. If you're doing those, you have to empty them fairly frequently. If you're a commercial operation, you don't use the bag or bucket. You have pipelines that run all over the place and meet up at a place called a sugar shack. So, the next year you do the holes again. You do them like higher up and at different angles, like 45 degrees off from what they were, so you don't wound the tree or its circulation system.
Particularly healthy. If it's at all dead looking or sick, then we just went to a different tree. We wouldn't mess with it.
It is boiled and boiled. Now, what happens when you have sugar water and you boil it, this is even true of like rock candy, it gets thicker and thicker. And so there's a point where you are testing the boiling maple syrup. And when it's kind of like the consistency of latex paint that it coats the paddle smoothly, not thick and gooey, but just smoothly drips off like paint, it's just about the right time to have it stop. And, you can go a little more, a little less. Now, if you go a little more, the maple syrup can turn into maple sugar. It'll suddenly crystallize into like a brown sugary thing that tastes like maple flavor. So that's kind of the status of what you do. Once the tree starts budding and the buds are there and the leaves start coming out, the sugar syrup isn't sweet anymore. It starts getting bitter. They call it that the flavor is getting buddy. You don't want that for maple syrup. You're usually supposed to stop collecting syrup sometime before that. Then you have to wait until next spring. So that's kind of a rundown of how maple syrup extraction works and is done. The biggest maple syrup states in America, 1 and 2 are Vermont and New Hampshire. Number 3 is Wisconsin. And I don't know about Michigan after that, probably. You have to have lots of maple trees, and most of these are maple. This is not a maple plantation. No, this is just a park that happens to have a lot of maple trees. So, that's all for now. Be seeing you.